Hey guys, today what I wanted to talk about were dive tables. So this is a recreational dive planner. What these allow you to do is just to do normal dives that don't require any kind of decompression. They don't go too deep, and more or less they tell you how deep you can go, how long you can stay there, and still come back up to the surface and do it safely. So the first place to look here. Oh, that was weird. Okay, sorry about that. I had to figure out where the heck I was. So the first place that you actually want to take a look is right up here in the depth. Okay, that's how many feet underwater that you're going. What you see going vertically is how long you're going to stay at that particular depth. So you can see right here, we can actually stay at a depth of 60 feet for a maximum of 55 minutes. And you can stay anytime less than that, but that's the most that you can stay down here without actually getting hurt. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, let's say we're going to go to a depth of, oh, how deep we want to go, 70 feet. And we're going to stay down at 70 feet for 25 minutes. All right, so we come down here until we find 25. Well, I see 24. I don't see a 25, so what we have to do is round up. We always kind of go to the next one up. And that's just to sort of add in a little bit of safety margin and everything to this. Okay, so we're going to stay down for 25 minutes, according to the table 26. Now we come to the right, and you'll see that we are now what's considered an L diver. What that means is that these letters that you see are sort of a representation of how much nitrogen is in your blood. Okay, so an A diver has very little nitrogen in their blood. A V diver has a whole bunch of nitrogen in their blood. And that's what we're really concerned with. We're concerned with the amount of nitrogen that's actually still in your blood, that's in solution, because that's the stuff that can hurt you after a time. So let's say that we're an L diver, and you get done with that dive. If you're not going to do any more dives at the end of this, then it doesn't really matter what you do. You can actually just sort of erase all this and say, ah, you know what, I'm fine. It's no big deal. Um, but if you want to continue and to do more dives, then you need to take into consideration what's called a surface interval. And a surface interval is the amount of time that you actually spend on the surface breathing out some of that excess nitrogen. So let's do that same dive that we were just talking about. We're going to do a 70-foot dive for 25 minutes. We have to count it as 26. At the end of that, we're an L diver. All right, now let's stay on the surface. I don't know, I'm just making this stuff up. Let's say 45 minutes. That's a good long time for you to kind of get something to drink, maybe get something to eat, change out all of your equipment, go to a new dive site. So the captain on the boat's going to say, I'm going to take you to a cool new reef. Awesome, great. All right. So we come over and we want to find 45 minutes. So if you look, these window blocks, let me zoom in here. These blocks right over here will give you time frames. This particular one goes from 43 minutes to 50 minutes. So I said our surface interval is going to be 45 minutes. That falls right in there. Okay, cool. So at the end of that surface interval, we look to see how much nitrogen is still in your blood. All right, you're now an E diver. So we started off and you're an L. Right? Now you've actually progressed all the way down to an E diver. So by staying on the surface, you've actually gotten rid of some of the nitrogen that's actually in your blood. All right, that's pretty cool. Now we can figure out some other stuff. So if you are now an E diver, we go down to the next table. And here's your E diver right there. Um, so let's do our next dive. Rather than at 70 feet, we can go a little bit shallower. Your second dives, or third dives, or fourth dives, or however many you want, always have to be shallower than the previous dives. You can never go deeper. And really the only reason for that is that the tables aren't designed that way. So let's say that we want to do a 60-foot dive. So here's how we do this. We take 60 feet and we bring that all the way over until it lines up with our E diver. And you'll see a couple things right in this little box right here. The top number, 17, is the residual nitrogen time, or the RNT. That's the amount of nitrogen that's in your blood calculated in minutes for this step. So really what that means is if you've already done this one dive to 70 feet, you come up, you hung out on the surface, you want to do a second dive to 60 feet, your body thinks that it's already been on the bottom for 17 minutes. So we sort of have to calculate that into our total time. That's what that top number is. Now the bottom number, oops, there we go, we're back in this little guy right here. The bottom number tells you what your maximum bottom time can be. So it just tells you right off the bat, if you want to do this dive to 60 feet, you better not make it more than 38 minutes because it's going to be too long. Okay, so let me kind of get a little bit of space here. So let's say that we have a residual nitrogen of 17 minutes, and we want to do an actual dive of 25 minutes. Okay, so what we now have to figure out is our total bottom time, and the way that you get your total bottom time is you add those two together. So you take 17 plus 25 is 42. That took a little bit of time, I gotta tell you. And then we come back over here and we said we were going to do a 60-foot dive for 42 minutes. Okay, now really we're only going down for 25, but remember our body still thinks that it's already down there for 17, so we have to add those two together to tell us what our total bottom time is. And lo and behold, we actually can pull that one off. At the end of that, we're a Q diver, and we can kind of keep doing this over and over and over and over again, as many times as we want. Although I will tell you, it gets tiring after a while. So that's how we do this. Now, what you will normally see is something kind of like this, where you have sort of a dive profile set up. And I'll give you things like this on the test, or actually on the worksheet that we're going to be doing. You'll see some stuff where you have to do some calculations like this. But if you set things up just like this, then it makes it easy to sort of follow along. So we're going to make believe that we're going to do another dive here. Let's do a dive to 90 feet. And I want to come back and let's see, what is our maximum bottom time for 90 feet? 25 minutes. All right, well, oops, I wanted to erase that. All right, let's, what the heck, let's stay down for the maximum bottom time. So we're going to do a dive to 90 feet for 25 minutes. Now, at the end of that, let's come back up here and do this again. I guess I shouldn't have erased that. We are now a Q diver. All right, so you guys know how to do this. Just filling in the table as we go along, a Q diver. Now we want to say, all right, how long are we going to stay on the surface here? We're on vacation. We need to get on with our vacation and see more cool stuff. So let's do another surface interval of just 30 minutes. That's not a whole lot. So we still have a fair amount of nitrogen in our blood. And we are now, at the end of this, a K diver. Let me come back and show you guys. So you guys see where I'm at right now, right? 90 feet, 25 minutes. That makes you a Q diver. After a 30-minute surface interval, we are now a K diver. All right, now I can actually erase all this stuff because I'm not going to need it in a minute. All right. Oh, I do need to put this up here. 30-minute surface interval. Now I want to do my second dive. This is usually the part where people start to get confused. Okay, so my second dive has to be, it can't be any deeper than the first dive. That's really the only rule here. What the heck? Let's go back and dive at the same place. I want to do a dive to 90 feet. Okay, and I need to find out. All right, so what was I? I was a K diver. Okay, so I'm a K diver, and I want to dive to 90 feet. I've got a heck of a lot of nitrogen actually built up here. I've got 18 minutes of residual nitrogen. You guys can see that right here. Okay, so there's 18 minutes is an awful lot, but that's what it is. Okay, 18, oops, that was a terrible number. 18 minutes. All right. Now you can see that it's telling me that I can't stay down for any longer than 7 minutes. Well, okay, let's do 7 minutes. So our residual is 18, our actual is 7. If I add those two things together, let's see, 18 plus 7 is 25. All right, so I have to come all the way back to my first table once again. And 90 feet, can I do 25 minutes at 90 feet? Yes, I can. It's the maximum that's allowed. And at the end, I'm a Q diver. So I can do that. At the end here, I'm a Q diver. And we can kind of keep on going all the way down, as many dives as we want to do. That's it. If you have any questions, send me an email or ask